Cyberpunk 2077 was released a couple of days ago. While it has been one of the most hyped games of the year and probably one of the best selling games of the year so far, there has been a lot of problems with it. I'm not here to talk about the problems. What I want to talk about today is the world building, all of the things that make this game tick, all of the story and background plots and giving you the rules of the world to what in which the characters have to play in. So I'm going to get in on that right after the intro. Welcome back to the DLJonesBooks channel. I'm your host, DL Jones. On this channel, I talk about all types of story-related topics. And in this particular topic, I'm going to be talking about a story-related topic dealing with video games. In this particular video game is Cyberpunk 2077. This game released a few days ago and it's been all in the news. All the news hasn't been good news, but the part that I want to talk about today is not actually playing the game, but the actual world that this game takes place in. There's a lot of story in this world. There's a lot of background in this world. And I want to get into those elements of this game and talk about, how everything is brought about and everything, and just how much of story is basically in this game and what players have to play in when they go to play this game. Now, Cyberpunk 2077, the game is built in the world created in the Cyberpunk pen and paper tabletop role-playing game. If you don't know what that is, it's similar to Dungeons and Dragons, but in the Cyberpunk world, it's more of a dystopian future. While you still do a lot of the role playing like you would do in a tabletop role playing game, such as Dungeons and Dragons, the environment is completely different. It's its own environment. It's like a dystopian future instead of like a sword and sorcery type environment. Now, the world of Cyberpunk, according to the tabletop role playing game, is pretty interesting one. If you look back in the lore, the way the world is set up is in the 90s, it's sort of like an alternate future type thing, but it starts like in the 90s. The government decides to go on a big war against the cartels, war on drugs and stuff like that. And it's like a huge war that pretty much, demolished the country. What happened, during and after that war is that the large corporations in the world, they were the ones that pretty much rose to power and they basically run the country. Along with that, things like cybernetics were invented and became wildly popular and pretty common. And cybernetics is sort of like this world's magic. What cybernetics is you can get technology-based implants and replacements for certain body parts and certain like nervous system, and you can just use that to enhance or add abilities to you. You basically have two categories when it comes to cybernetics. You have Cyberware and Bioware. The differences between the two is like one is more software based, is technology based, where it adds functionality to your body, whichever system that you are trying to enhance. And the other one kind of is more biological based. It's still technology, but it's biological based and is used to enhance technology inside of your body. And I may be explaining it not completely correct, but you get the gist. You have two basic forms. They're both technology based. They're both enhancements that you can install on your body either as a replacement or an enhancement, but one works more, is more software focused, and one is more replacement of already existing abilities type thing. You have a dystopian future that started like in 1990. So a lot of it seemed like if you was to use 1990 as a model of how you would predict a Mad Max type future would be. And then you add in the unlawfulness. Corporations pretty much run the world now. There's still government, but the corporations are way more popular than government, and they pretty much run the world, and they're the ones that have the power. And then you have people that are technology enhanced with, genetics, with cybernetics. They may have like an implant on their eye that would allow them to see through walls, or, just different things like that. It's this world's version of magic. Instead of you casting a spell, you would cast a program from your cybernetic implant. And then that's basically the Cyberpunk pen and paper role-playing game, which Cyberpunk 2077 uses the basic rules from that game as a backdrop for its game. I want to take this time here to ask you to make sure you subscribe to the channel by clicking the like button and the subscribe button below if you like to hear more content about story-related topics. And make sure you click the bell also so you get notified when new videos are posted. Now, as far as the game that was released, Cyberpunk 2077, the game takes place in a city called Night City. This city was founded by, supposed to be, according to the lore, it was founded in 1992. So it was founded back in the time frame where the big war in the cartels was taking place. It was founded by Richard Knight, and the city was named after him. It was named something else at first, but eventually it was named after him. If you dig deep into the lore, you can find a lot more information about that. But that's just the basic of it. It's just this new city. It's on the West Coast, kind of close to San Diego, in that area. There are about 6 districts in this city. Each district is kind of run by its own corporation and has its own set of rules, but they all are within the one city. And then within the game, there is a 7th district that's on the outside of the city. That's more of a Mad Max style, outskirts, Wild West type area. So knowing all that, then you look at your character. Now, the way the game is set up, you get to create your own character. It's really one character, but you have options on what the character look like, if the character is male or female. But the character's name is V, and have it look, however you want. And this is how mine's look. Your character, when you start the game, you get to pick from 3 different backgrounds, or like life paths. And this is just basically your background of your character, what your character's mission, or where your character stand at the beginning of this game, and what he is looking to do. The one that I chose is the one called Nomad. There's 2 others. There's also Corporation and Street Kid. I don't really know the differences between the story as far as if you pick one of the others, as I haven't tried them. From what I read, Corporation look like you are someone that's in with the corporations, and maybe you're looking to, gain power within the different corporations within Night City. And Street Kid looks like maybe you are, you grew up in Night City and you are trying to gain street cred and stuff like that. But my character is Nomad, which I started outside of Night City. And my story started with my character going on a smuggling run. I'm looking to meet somebody so we can smuggle something inside of Night City. And it starts with that. I'm outside of Night City, and I'm, in like a little desert looking town, wasteland or whatever. But basically, the story so far to me kind of feels like Scarface. You know how in the movie Scarface, you have the main character comes over from Cuba and he's just looking to rise in power and fame within, the drug cartels and all of that kind of stuff. This kind of seemed like how this story is set up for my character. It starts with a small smuggling run, but then my whole goal in this story is to try to gain power, gain rep, just build my character within this world, within Night City. And then something happens which gave me a purpose, which I think will end up being the main part of my story. And that's where, when you see the commercials and it has the Keanu Reeves character, just showing on all of the commercials, that part is not a spoiler, but I'm not going to tell you how it plays in. If you're going to play this game, it's interesting just to find out on your own as the game, presents that to you. But that ended up becoming like your main mission. You're still trying to go through You're meeting up with powerful people. You're trying to find information. You're doing jobs for people, but it's all set within this world. And the world part, having it set within the world, is the interesting part, is the part where you have the cities, you have to navigate through the different corporations. Then there are also gangs that you have to deal with. Sometimes you may ally with them. Sometimes you may fight against them. And then at the same time, you have to build your character, which includes, not only building your stats, but it's also building up how well you are with different pieces of equipment, how well you are with shooting pistols, how well you are with shooting assault rifles or sniper rifles or stuff like that. You got to build those skills. And then on top of that, you have the cybernetics angle, and that's where your magic come in. That's where you can change an implant in your legs that'll allow you to jump extra high, or you can, like I said earlier in the video, you can get an implant in your eye that would allow you to see through walls, or just a lot of different stuff like that. And since the whole world is based on the cybernetics, everybody is basically a computer. So you can also build skills that will allow you to hack into other people's computers. Like you can actually, if you build your skill high enough, you can actually see an enemy, hack into that enemy's cybernetic platform OS that's built into his body, because every person has it, and shut them down. If your skill is high enough, you can hack into it remotely, and shut that person down. And that would be an option that you would have to try to deal with combat situations. If you want to avoid the actual shootout, you can hack into him and shut him down, or hack into him and make him attack his friend or make him short circuit. But there's a lot of stuff like that happens. It kind of takes the place of traditional magic, and those things that you can do to other characters and equipment and stuff like that can also be done to you. It's a lot of stuff to play with in this game. There's a lot of world building. There's a lot of stories. There's a lot of lore. But basically, to me, it feels like the whole vibe kind of feels like if you took the movie Scarface and put it like in some alternative future where people have robotic eyes and arms and stuff, and the world was actually in chaos, kind of some type of organization, but still in chaos, and pretty much run by corporations just as much as it's ran by government. So far, I'm about 12 hours into the game. I really enjoy it. I like role-playing games. I like games with stories, with background, especially, the thing about role-playing games is that you get to participate in the stories. A lot of times you're the one that pick the things to say to the different characters. You pick the options on what you should do, a lot of that kind of stuff. And it's even to a point where you can make choices that will determine the outcome of a mission or your game and stuff like that, in a way where it can change whether one person is an ally or a adversary or anything, anything like that. You can double cross people and all kinds of stuff like that. It's pretty much, the game is kind of set up to be a sandbox. I'm not sure how successful it is, but you have this world, and as long as you work within the rules of the world, a lot of times you can make a lot of different choices and do a lot of different things. And that's Cyberpunk 2077. I think I will make another video. It won't be a review, but just my experiences on playthrough, because there's a lot of talk in the news about how buggy the game is, how many problems people are having to play it. And I hope you enjoyed this one. You have a good day. See you next time.